Welcome to Joe's Atmosphere.
Cook your shrimp, please. All of a sudden, my shrimp pan is burning up like a smoke test.
All right, ladies and gents, it's time for Chillin' at the Club number 9. Highlander unfortunately couldn't meet me tonight, so it's back-to-back nights at the club. So, yeah. We're going to get into Geek'D 2025, let you know what happened out there. We're going to say goodbye to a friend, and we're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about tonight on Chillin' at the Club. All right, welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for Chillin' at the Club. And yes, we get a double cheer because I'm doing it for 2 nights in a row. Can you believe it? But I'm not, ladies and gentlemen, drinking right off the bat this evening. Let me tell you, I had plenty last night. If you guys watched the 600 subscriber celebration, you know that me and Das Wolfen and Martin were on for about 4 hours last night. Actually, John fell out on us on a Saturday night. He was tired, so it's good to see you guys. I had plenty last night. I am not a raging alcoholic, despite what most people think of me, and I'm having a little cafe au lait in my private jet cup tonight. It's good to see you guys. I was a little late starting because I took a nap. I'm telling you, I've had a long day. Of course, you know it's Sunday around here, and we usually do the show, me and Daniel, and Highlander, as you guys know him, was not able to make it tonight. He had dinner reservations tonight and forgot about it or something like that. That these things happen. It's like I tell him all the time. He's always apologizing to me and stuff. I'm like, dude, there's no reason to apologize. That's life. That's what happens, you know. Let's say hi to the chat. Speaking of Das Wolfen, he's the first one on the chat tonight. He said back-to-back nights at the club. I haven't done that since I was in my early 20s. Yeah, well, I used to do it for 18 years, man. All the time. That's why I'm not doing it. Doing what we did last night. I've got to have time to recover. You know what I mean? But anyway, it's good to see you, John. Keely Chow is here as well, and he's saying cheers. I might get something here in a little bit, but right now I'm just waking up from a nap, so I'm not going to be doing that right off the gate. He says, hello, nurse. Of course, he's talking about the lead-in video, and we're going to have to get him into a 12-step program about this feeding the ducks thing. I don't know. He's seems to not have much self-control when it comes to the pretty girls. You know what I mean? But it's good to see you, Keely Chow. Really good to see you. Hello, dancing nurses. Yeah, oh boy. Martin Acosta Santana is with us as well. He says, greetings, my excellent friends. He was on with me last night, and he more than anybody understands why I'm not having a cocktail right out the gate tonight. Let's see. That thumbnail, hello, nurses, Keely Chow says. Yeah, yep. And Martin, of course, says, hello, Joe, in the tone of droopy dog. I don't know, one of these days, you know what, one of these days, I'm going to put droopy dog on the thumbnail. And when you see that, I'm going to do the entire show as droopy dog. But hello, Martin. It's good to see you. My gosh, Keely Chow, calm down, dude. My gosh, she's all over the place with that. But anyway, it's good to see you guys. Oh, boy, we got even more people in here. Let's see. Real Wade Nation is here. He says, Superman review for Normie. Okay. Are you saying that you did one, or would you like me to do that one? Let's see. Wolvie of the Quarter Jew is with us. He says, what up, Joe? It's good to see you, brother. Always good to see you. Kelly Chow says, I don't drink that much, but if I did, I would be drinking a lot because of the Braves this season, especially after what happened to them against the Mets last night and Friday night. Really? Kelly Chow, you're a baseball fan? Highlander's into baseball too. He really is. He loves his beloved Red Sox, you know. That's his team. Let's see. And Snortapoopus is here as well. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Always good to see you, Snortapoopus. All right. Well, I want to start tonight with a tribute to a friend. He was actually my first father-in-law. His name was Thomas Dean Yeager, and he was laid to rest today. I went to church this morning, and I went. As soon as I was done with church, our routine on Sundays is after church we go to eat dinner, and then we come home, and then I get ready for me and Highlander's show. And what we did this time was we went ahead and we came back, excuse me, I came back to the house, got myself a protein bar, just to, keep my blood sugar good. And then I went to the funeral. I got there right as it was starting, and this guy, I didn't know that much about him, so I'm glad I went. When I was married to my first wife, they were a bit estranged at the time, so we didn't spend much time with him. But I did do a drawing for him, and I want to show you guys that because I was blown away. They actually put it in the in the arrangement around him. Whenever they have a funeral, they have him. It was an open casket, and I'm not going to show him. I wouldn't do that. That would be uncool. But I do have to show you what blew me away when I walked in there. Of course, everybody was already in there, and I was one of the last ones to come in, and found this. Let's see. Grab this thing, if I can. If it'll let me grab it. Let me see. Oh, I'm grabbing it the wrong place. Okay, there we go. Was really blown away because a picture that I had drawn for him. Now you guys know from watching my streams that I usually do pencil sketch portraits a lot, and this is one of the few that I actually inked. It was a picture of him with his favorite car. It was a GTO, and I actually inked this one. I drew it with pencil, but then I went in and inked it, and it was right there by. I cut the casket out of the picture, but it was over there to the right of the flowers. And just to know that they thought that much of that picture, that they put it up there. And from what they tell me, he loved that picture. Apparently he hung it up and it stayed in the same place his entire life. So I got to say thanks for that. Pour one out for Tom Yeager. He was a good man. I enjoyed his company. Really, he was always good to me. And, I just wanted to say something about that because I know his family's in town tonight. And I got to see my stepson, Devin, today. It was good to see him. He said we need to work more on on staying in touch. And I said, well, man, it's a two-way street. It's usually me reaching out to you, bro. So but yeah, it's just another one of those things. By all accounts, he was healthy as a horse. He's the same age as my father. He was 83 years old. He made it to the rank of Master Sergeant in the Air Force. He was on refueling tankers. And then he ended up getting a pilot's license, and he flew for a millionaire for years. When I first met him, he was a civilian pilot, and he used to fly. This guy volunteered his services, all over the place. He flew organs a lot of times. He flew celebrities, and he flew the guy that paid him, wherever he needed to go. But yeah, sweetheart of a guy. He's going to be missed, and it's just one of these weird things. They really don't know what happened. Don't know if he had like a heart attack or a stroke, but he was cleaning his pool, and they found him face down in this pool that next day. So heart goes out to his wife Deb and his daughters Becky Jo and my ex-wife Deanne, and Katie, and there's another daughter in there. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but the only ones I knew were those three. Yeah, shout out to Thomas Dean Yeager. He has left his pains behind here on this earthly realm, and he is flying high right now, let me tell you. But anyway, let's get back to the chat and see what everybody's talking about here. Let's see. Real Wade is here. I already said that. Oh, man. And Martin Acosta Santana. Look at you. You're going to be the first to drop the three letters that we love so much. And they must be acknowledged.
Squeeze.
Wrong damn video joke. Let's acknowledge it correct.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
All right, now that the somber stuff is out of the way, we're going to look at Geek'D and see what happened there this weekend. Let's see. Let me see. Let me get back up here and catch up in the chat here. I dropped my 8 out of 10 to 6 out of 10. Railway Nation says. Dropped my 8 out of 10 to 6 out of 10. You can't even decide whether it's 8 out of 10 or 6 out of 10? Why don't you just call it 7 out of 10, right down the middle? Why don't you call it that? He says, for me. No, I wanted to see what the normie thought. Okay. Well, I'm not a normie, so if you're calling me a normie about the Superman movies, no, I'm not a normie. I know what I think, and I've already done my review of it. But I'll be glad to tell you again my thoughts on it. Let's see. Snorter Pooper says, I'm proud to say that I don't drink anymore. Of course, I don't drink any less either. Very good. Very good. Know thyself. This is the thing, guys. I've seen a lot of guys do these, I'll do a shot every time we get a $50, a super chat. I'm like, why would you do that, man? I mean, I understand you want to make money, but you're going to blow your brains out. But then again, these guys I'm watching do that are in their 20s and 30s, and I am just too old for that stuff, man. I can't do that stuff. You got to know yourself and know what you can take. Last night, that was my limit. We did 4 hours, and I did 3 shots and 3 beers, and that's plenty. Oh, my God. Yeah, that's way more than I needed. Let's see. GTO for the win. Yeah. Martin Acosta Santana. It's a pretty car, isn't it? Yeah, he was pretty proud of that thing. And Snorter Pooper says, rip Tom. Yeah, he was a great guy. He really was. And he will be missed. He definitely will be missed. Okay, so let's move on to some fun stuff. Like I said, GeekCon was this weekend. I'm going to go over my haul and everything, but like last night during the 600 celebration stream, I wanted to go ahead and show you what went on yesterday. None of this is going to have sound, so don't worry about that. I just want to show you some of the images. It was a great turnout, man. It was better than last year from what I saw. And I got to tell you, the lines to see some of these people were pretty long. They were. These are some of the cosplay images. These 2 girls were walking in when we were walking in. That's a, what do they call that? A skyway. It's on the top of the parking garage across the street from the Hilton in downtown Shreveport, which is attached to the Shreveport Convention Center. And there's a skyway that you can walk across. And that's where we were at. I had them take a picture and everything. I got them their pictures and stuff. Let's see. Martin says, Joe Murtaugh is too old for this, isn't yeah, the shit. Yeah, I got you. He said, Ishta. He's trying not to get in trouble. Yeah, Joe Murtaugh. That's me. I'm Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon. Exactly. I'm too old for that back-to-back nights of drinking. I mean, I've got to have cocktails tomorrow night for DCO, so I'm not going to do that. But these are just a few of the cosplays I thought were cool. This Oogie Boogie was fucking cool. I thought she did a great job, and she couldn't see shit. Luckily, I think it was her boyfriend or husband that was wearing a Halo outfit that was with her. It was pretty cool. And this is right in front of... they had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reunion from the 90s movie. All the guys that were in the suits were there. And Shredder. So that's what they're in front of right there. I was actually getting a picture of that, turtle row there, and they happened to be there. I said, turn around, let's get a pic, So people, putting on their cosplays and having a good time at this thing. Let's see, what else did I get? Yeah, this right here. This was early. This is when we first got there. It was about 9:30 in the morning. They'd only been open a half an hour. And you see the line for Holly Marie Combs. That's who that is. That's who that's for right there, is Holly Marie Combs. And the 2 longest lines that I saw were for Holly Marie Combs, who is Piper on Charmed. And the one down on the end, Jason Lee, he was the second longest. I mean, both of those 2 had really long lines. And it's more proof to me that it really matters who you bring to your show, because these people were there to see the Turtles. They were there to see those, the Charmed folks, and Jason Lee and the Mallrats reunion is what they had. They had a couple of people from the, the Kevin Smith films of the early aughts and late 90s, But anyway, yeah, that was that. We have this video here. This was a working C-3PO. I know you can't hear it, but it had the sounds and everything. So that was pretty neat. I thought that was cool. So I shot some video of that. And then, of course, I showed you last night, we had I showed the entrance of all the characters from Charmed. Now, I didn't know this, and I'm fixing to show you here in a minute, but this gentleman here, God, I'm trying to remember his name. When I pull it up here in a minute, I'll show you. But he's playing Darth Vader these days in the Disney stuff. He's the guy in the suit. That's Leo. This guy has lost so much weight. He's gotten really gaunt. But that's him, Brian Krause. And then Holly Marie Combs came in next. I think Leo ended up waving her in there. Yeah, she came in next. And there she is. She's doing good. Of course, she's a mom, and you could tell. She's been. I think she said she's got 2 teenagers still that she's raising. Great chick though. She was fun to meet. And then you got Chris, the son, right, from Charmed, the one that came back to save his older brother Wyatt in the TV show. But anyway, it was fun to see those guys get together for a panel. It was pretty damn cool. We enjoyed it, and we, of course, got our picture taken with them later. And, of course, Foxy got up there and asked them a question. Asked them who the biggest prankster was on the set of Charmed. And Holly Marie Combs didn't even miss a beat. She told her it was Julian McMahon. And they talked about Julian McMahon and Shannon Doherty quite a bit. Their memories of those guys, because it's a panel, people get up there and ask questions and stuff, and they were talking about them quite a bit. But Julian McMahon was a subject that came up a lot. Now this one I love. This one is me and Angelina Love. She is probably one of the greatest heel female wrestlers of all time, man. If you ever watched TNA wrestling back in the day when the guy that's running SmackDown now, Mickey James's husband. God, why am I failing to remember names tonight? Anyway, he was known as Magnum on TNA when he was the champ, and he had the Abyss, the Monster Abyss, as his his strong arm, his hitman. Nick Aldis, that's his name. But his name back then on his wrestling name was Magnus, and he was the champ back then, and she was with a tag team called the Beautiful People. And they were kind of the 4 horsemen of the female wrestlers in TNA, because it started with her and a girl named Velvet Sky. And they had several people that moved in and out of the Beautiful People. Madison Rayne was one of them, and there was a couple of others. But the mainstays were always Angelina Love and Velvet Sky, and she was a late addition. They announced her coming like 2 weeks before the show, and when I told my wife, I was like, "Oh my God, I got to get her 8x10," and I did. I got her 8x10. You see there, she signed it to me and everything. That's a big thrill, because I used to watch them wrestle and I loved them. I thought they were awesome. If you're a good bad guy, it's fun to watch you. And she was definitely a great bad guy. The Beautiful People, they were the snobs. They were like, we're more beautiful than you, and that kind of thing. It's kind of like the Iconics. You remember the Iconics a few years back? The 2 girls from Australia. Yeah, that's what the Beautiful People were like, but they were much better at it. The Iconics were more following their shtick, you know what I mean? But anyway, it was good to see her. And then, of course, we got our Polaroid, I like to call them. They're professional pictures. They print them right there for you and everything. And we got ours taken with Brian Krause and Holly Marie Combs. It's really cool, because my wife got me into their show, and Holly Marie Combs is always my favorite one out of the sisters. And of course, she was in love with Leo. She thought he was great. So we got that done. And then, of course, we had to stick around for the John Barrowman panel. And if you've never seen this guy at a con, if he's on the list for a convention, go sit at his panel. You will die laughing. You see he's in heels, and it almost looks like a dress. This thing, he was Captain Jack on Doctor Who, and I'm not a big Doctor Who fan, but there are a lot of Doctor Who fans out there, and he doesn't like you to videotape his show because he doesn't want to offend people. He's very funny. He's extremely funny. He has a good time with his shtick, but he doesn't want to offend people, so he tells you not to videotape him. But he did let us videotape him changing out of that drape right there, and here it is right here. He was wearing a hockey shirt with pride flags on it and all kinds of shit. He's a flamer, guys. He really is. But he's a guy that's comfortable with it. He doesn't throw it in your face or anything, and he has a good time with it. So, highly recommend seeing his panel. And it's not really a panel. He does take questions and stuff like that, but half of it's really a show. He's up there to entertain and have a good time. But yeah, that was it for GeekCon 2025. Let me grab my haul real quick so I can show you everything here. Let's see. That's all comic books. Where did I do it? Oh, okay. It's over here. Hang on. I placed it all over here last night. Okay. Some of the things I bought, guys, I've got a Spider-Man mask collection down here. This one's just for like half your head, and it's got holes for the eyes, right? And I haven't pulled it out of the bag yet, but I'll use it the next time I want to. I can actually see through this, and it's a full head Spider-Man. So I can actually pull this on and see something. So I can actually dress up as Spider-Man if I want to. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Let me check in with the chat real quick. Oh, yeah, I'm glad I did, because one of the biggest fans of the show is here. No, his name is not Fuck Headquarters 2005. His name is...
There are some who call me Tim.
Tim is here. It's good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. He says, hello, Joe. It's TNA team. I know what you're trying to say. That's right. Who got the name right? John did. Nick Aldis. That's it. Yeah. Let's see. Tim says he's gay. What next? Next is you are going to tell me Liberace was gay. Oh, say it isn't so, man. Really? Was he? Got to be kidding me. But anyway, yeah. We've got to get this. We got to go get a frame tomorrow night for this one. This is the one we did of Leo and Piper hanging out with us, right? Got that one. And then, like I said, got the Angelina Jolie, or not. Listen to me, Angelina Jolie, the Angelina Love from TNA Wrestling. And no, it's not tits and ass wrestling, boys and girls. It's total nonstop action wrestling. That's what TNA Wrestling stands for. Okay. Yes, I'm sure they meant for you to think that whenever you saw it, but that's what TNA stands for. And I always try to buy a couple of books while I'm there. And sure enough, I found a Michael Turner cover Supergirl. So I picked that up. I had to have it because I've got T-shirts with this on it. I'm a big fan of Michael Turner. I love all the artwork he did. And that's my favorite Supergirl outfit. I need to get... I've got my statues of Supergirl next to me here. But I really need to get one made by Michael Turner. They have them out there. They've got Michael Turner ones, and I need to get a statue of Michael Turner Supergirl. And then, of course, I got this one because this guy had picked up a few of the 70s Supergirl books, and this one had Satana on the cover too. And I said, oh, okay, I got to get this one because I'm a big Zatanna fan. So, yeah, they're battling the sinister snowman. It's not a Yeti. It's not a Bigfoot. It's the sinister snowman. That's who they're fighting. So, yeah, that was my haul from Geek'D. Always have a good time going out there. Shout out to Chris from Excalibur Comics, Cards, and Games. He was out there. Of course, you know, he got his booth grandfathered to where he can set up there every year. As soon as you walk into the con floor, you walk right into our local comic book shop, and it's a huge island of nothing but toys and books. Excalibur Cards and Games. Look him up, man. It's great stuff. If you're ever in the Shreveport area, you got to go by and say hi to Chris over there. He's got great stuff. If you're into sports cards, any kind of collectibles, man. The Funko Pops, the whole 9 yards. He's got them over there. And I, of course, frequent there. The sign, you can't miss it from the road. I painted it. It's a glass painting sign I did for him. As a matter of fact, I talked to him at the con. It's been a good, I think, probably 4 years since I painted that thing. So it's about time for me to go over there and clean that thing up for him. I painted it. If you guys remember when I started my channel live streaming, I was actually going over there every other night and working on it. So let's see. What are you guys saying in the chat here? Yeah, nom. I hear you, man. Yeah, she's pretty. To be honest, TNA Wrestling had lots of TNA. Well, it did, but you know, it wasn't. You know, it wasn't like the lingerie wrestling of the Attitude Era and that kind of thing. Let's see. Yeah, Hail Snortopoopas. It's good to see you. Albino Wookie. Is that what it was? No, it's the Sinister Snowman, man. That's who it was. Let's see. John says, be sure you get your picture taken in front of the sign. A famous artist did it. Oh, my God. Well, I mean, you know, who knows? Maybe, you know what? Us artists do it because we enjoy it and everything. But most of the time, our stuff isn't worth anything until we're dead. So, you know. I mean, I saw a piece of my work today at a funeral. You know what I mean? I've done a lot of work for a lot of people. And, you know, hell, as far as I know, Michael Douglas has got one of my portraits I drew of him hanging up somewhere. I did one of him and Catherine Zeta-Jones on the set of, my gosh, what is that movie? It's Beyond a Reasonable Doubt, I believe is the name of it. Let me look it up real quick. IMBD. I don't think they credit extras in the movies, so I wouldn't be in the credits, I don't think. But I was a featured extra. I was the courtroom artist in this one. Let's see. Beyond a Reasonable... Yeah, there it is. 2009, Jesse Metcalf. This was supposed to be the thing that got Jesse Metcalf launched into stardom, is what it was supposed to be. It's done by Peter Hyams, one of my favorite directors. And actually, if his head wasn't there, you'd see me. I'm in the front row right there. Every time Jesse Metcalf walks into the courtroom, he enters from this side, from the poster side of that picture. And I'm right there, all the way towards the door, in every scene. But anyway, this one came out in 2009. My wife was doing a lot of extra work back then, and she got called in for this one. She was a nurse back then. Actually, no, I think she was a nurse manager. She had just started as a nurse manager at this time. And she knew I was a huge Michael Douglas fan. I dig Michael Douglas. I've loved him ever since I watched him as a kid on Streets of San Francisco with Carl Malden. I think he's great. Big fan of everything he does. And this one, I think, is a remake of an older movie. I'm not quite sure, but I think that's the case. And Jesse Metcalf is this guy on the poster right here. His biggest claim to fame before this was being on Wisteria Lane. What's that nighttime soap opera? Desperate Housewives. He was a gardener that was banging one of the chicks on that show or something. But anyway, yeah, it didn't do as well as they thought it would. But the guys that were involved, I mean, I love Michael Douglas, and I also dig Peter Hyams, and I love his movies. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And I was just a regular extra, and I went in there, and I'm sitting there, and I had, when I found out I was going to be doing it, I started the picture, and I need to go get my. I think I've got it on my iPad. I'm not sure. I might have it on my phone. I don't know. I'll look for it while I tell you the story. But yeah, she got me the gig, so I started a portrait of him and his wife, Catherine Zeta-Jones. They're still married. And at the time, they had been together for a while, but that's what I do. I draw portraits, right? So I started Michael, and I was working on Catherine in the courtroom. I brought my friggin' portfolio and the pencils and everything, and I was working on it, and one of the assistant directors saw me doing it, and he called me over, and he said, can we talk to you real quick? And I said, yeah, sure. He said, look, we've got guys that are courtroom artists. We have... the first thing he asked me was, how would you feel about being a featured extra? And I was like, oh, what does that mean? And he said, well, it just means you're going to have to change clothes twice as much as everybody else, because in the courtroom drama thing, what they do is all the people in the gallery, they just shift them around every day. They sit in different places every time you shoot for different days of the week, right? But the people that are featured extras are sitting in the same place every time, so they have to change clothes with every calendar day that goes by, right? So I was one of the guys they had to take a picture of at the end of the day to see what my wardrobe was. That a lot of those stills you see, that's why they take them. It's for continuity when they're shooting from day to day. And it also meant I was going to make $10 an hour instead of $7 an hour. I was going to make more money than my wife, who at the time was a nurse and made ungodly money. Okay. So anyway, I was like, yeah, sure. What's going on? And they said, well, we've got these people with the portfolios and the pencils and everything, but you've got it all and you're doing it already. So could you do what you're doing and just do it right here in the front row and all this? I was like, yeah, sure. And I drew a picture of Jesse Metcalf. Matter of fact, hang on a second. Let me see where my portfolio is. It's tucked right there. Hang on a second. I'll grab the sketch pad real quick to show you guys. Bear with me 1 second. Let's see. That's the granddaughter's book. This one. Finished art. So it's got to be this one. Yep. As you can see, it says, beyond a reasonable doubt, set sketches, right? Real quick before I open this up, let's check it. I got to remember to check in on the chat, see how they're doing. And yes, we are on Rumble tonight. And yes, I pulled up the chat, and I don't see anybody over there. So yeah. So when Low Spec shows up, don't tell him I'm not monitoring it. I checked it. He's not there. Let's see. Das Wolfen says, just a reminder, Joe, Knock and I are waiting on you. Yeah, I've been busy, dude. I'm telling you, I took a nap right before this freaking show. I was so busy today with the funeral and everything. And I will do it tonight as soon as I'm done with the show. I will do it tonight. You won't be waiting on me after tonight. This is just a pencil sketch of, this was at the courthouse in Benton, Louisiana. Benton is about maybe half an hour north of Bossier City. And it's the courthouse for the parish, for Bossier Parish. It's the Bossier Parish Courthouse. This one is of Jesse Metcalf from the back. And I was doing it just like a courtroom artist would do it, just getting colored pencils and just making quick sketches, that kind of thing. I drew a portrait of Jesse Metcalf and gave it to him. And I didn't get to talk to Michael Douglas, but the assistant director gave him the portrait that I drew of him. This is Michael from the back. And like I said, this takes place in Louisiana, so they the Pelican state has its moniker all over it, and he had a monitor right in front of him, a computer monitor with the Pelican symbol. That's what that is. But I just sketched it like it was a courtroom. That's Michael and somebody who was questioning. I can't remember the actor's name, but I did all these during the shooting of Beyond a Reasonable Doubt, being a featured extra, and I've kept them all these years, But it's just like any courtroom sketches, they're kind of scratchy and just quickly rendered and all that good stuff. I think I did okay capturing Mike's profile there, though. I believe that's Jesse Metcalf right there. Pretty sure that's who that is. But I did a bunch of these. And like I said, I drew actual portraits of some of the people. Let's see. This one is... He's one of the supporting characters that was up there. If I can get it to focus. Yeah, there you go. He was kind of an older guy, as you can see. Let's see. What else? Oh, yeah, that guy. That actor, I'll have to look him up on the actors page. Matter of fact, let's do it real quick and see how I did capturing him, because you've seen this guy before in several things. Believe that. He's one of the ones that I remember from it. Let me go ahead and take a look at this real quick. Go down to the actors list. All right. Yeah, that's Jesse Metcalf. Mike's in it. Let me see. Yeah, this fella right here, Orlando Jones, the guy that ended up getting eaten in the revolving door in The Walking Dead. That's who that is. So you tell me, did I capture him? Let's take a look. You guys tell me if I captured him in a quick sketch that I did. Okay, hang on. There you go. Did I capture him? I think I did. Anyway, yeah, these are all sketches I did for that. That one's Jesse Metcalf, right? I think that's about it. Yeah, that's all of them. That's all. Let me see if that other actor's in here. I'm not sure if he is or not. The older guy. I'm not sure if he's in here or not. I don't remember his name. But I drew some of the guys that were on the witness stand, Let's see. Doesn't look like he's on the list. Unless it's Grant James. Might be him, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, had a good time working on this thing. I really did. I enjoyed work. I think this is the only movie I've been in. I think I might have been in Picasso Trigger. It's an old, you want to talk about TNA. It's an old TNA action movie by, who did Picasso Trigger? I can't remember. Hang on. Picasso Trigger. I've seen people do entire streams about this guy's movies. Yeah, there it is, 1988. Picasso Trigger. It was actually, part of it was actually filmed at the club that I was working in 1988. I'd only been there like 2 years. Place called Cowboys in Bossier City, Louisiana. But this is one of those, boobs and guns shows from back in the 80s. Andy Sedaris, that's it. Andy Sedaris. And he was the writer and director of a lot of these movies, And it was all just hot chicks and guns and that kind of thing, yeah, you might see me in that one. Because they filmed several, and here's a bunch of his movies, by the way. Malibu Express. They all look like, Savage Beach, Hard Ticket to Hawaii, Picasso Trigger, just crazy stuff, man. That's the only other movie you might see me in. You know what I mean? But you will see me in Beyond a Reasonable Doubt. I actually had a full head of hair in that movie. It wasn't this long. It was about shoulder length, I think. You know what I got to do? I got to get a clip of me in the front row there when Jesse Metcalf walks in, so people will actually believe I was in that movie and not a big fan of it and drawing all these pictures, right? But anyway, let's see. Let's see. Sketches are pretty cool, dude. Yeah. Thanks, Ken. I appreciate it. My man Ken is watching tonight. All right. Yeah. Ken wouldn't have been with me in '88, but he used to work with me in the club business. But Dos Wolfen says, "Yup." He must know about the Andy Sedaris movies. But anyway, had a good time doing that. But what do you guys want to get into tonight? I was thinking about, I'm always talking about this video game is top 5 for me and that kind of thing, and which movies are top 5 for me. So I was thinking about maybe just count down my top 5 favorite movies and see if you guys think I'm totally off base or what, And I've done this before, and I'm trying to remember which ones are on the list. I know 2 of them. Now 3. Well, I know all 5 of them. It's just not sure about the order. You know what I mean? Let me think. Yeah, I know what the order is. Yeah, I know what the order is. Okay, all right, let's do this. I'm gonna count down the top 5, my top 5 favorite movies. Let's see. John says, so he is the Huey Bowl of tits and ass movies. Yeah, he is. That was Andy Sedaris. Look him up. I mean, that's all he made. It was low budget TNA movies. Hang on. Well, shit, I'll just pull him up real quick. Hang on. Andy Sedaris. I think it's Sadaris, I think. Oh, here it is. Yeah, Andy Sedaris. Here he is. Died in 2007. Let's see. Pretty sure. Yeah, this is him. Yeah. Because Malibu Express is the first fucking movie that's listed. This is Andy Sedaris right here. His filmography is... Yeah, that's all it is guns, ammo, and babes, You got Malibu Express. The ones that he says he knows for is Malibu Express, Stacy, Seven, and Hard Hunted. I mean, come on. These look like porn movie titles, Let's see. The last one he did was in 1998, Lethal Ladies Return to Savage Beach, which I just showed you earlier. Savage Beach is one of his, right? Fit to Kill, Hard Hunted. I mean, look at these. Do or Die, Guns, Savage Beach, Picasso Trigger. Yeah, Picasso Trigger. Lake Placid, 1980 Olympics. Wow, miniseries. Look at this. He directed some of this. Are you kidding me? Hang on a second. Let's look at this. Broadcast television coverage of Lake Placid Olympics. Wow. He actually did some legit production. Wow. Sports production. Tim McKay covering. Boy, that's back in the day. 1980. You kidding me? Woof. That's nuts, man. Wow. I wouldn't have thought somebody that made those kind of movies actually did some real, production work. 7, The Hardy Boys Nancy Drew Mysteries on television. He directed an episode. Wow. Gemini Man, Kojak. Okay, so he did a bunch of He did a bunch of television work. And there you go. Wide World of Sports. World Heavyweight Championship fight, Muhammad Ali and Oscar Benavena. Wow, man. See, now this... I love what this brings up here. Monday Night Football. Look, back in the day, this is 1970. Okay, very cool. I have a whole different picture of Andy Sedaris now after looking at this. Because I tell people all the time that when I was a kid, people knew who the heavyweight champ was before they even knew who the Super Bowl champ was. I mean, the Super Bowl champ, when I was a kid, I think the earliest Super Bowl I remember watching is either Super Bowl 7 or 8. Okay? But we always knew who the heavyweight champ was. back then, pay-per-view was what they called closed-circuit television. You had to go to a big venue to watch something like that. I think when Ali fought Frazier, I think my dad, my uncle went down to the Hirsch Coliseum to watch it. They had a big screen that they played it on. You know what I mean? It wasn't like you could watch it at home because we didn't even have cable back then. You know, in '70, didn't exist. I don't think we got HBO. The first cable kind of thing we got that we actually ran cable to the house was the HBO box we got, and all it was a switch to switch the TV over to HBO, and you put the TV on a certain channel. And but before that, if you wanted to see a big fight like that, you had to watch it on what they called closed circuit television. And you'd go down and watch it at whatever venue you wanted to watch it at. And but they always replayed it the next day. I guarantee you that's what this is. I mean, he probably covered this fight in 1970 live for closed circuit television, but it was shown the next day on Wide World of Sports. ABC always showed the heavyweight fight the next day. Yeah. And you know, sometimes, you know, people wouldn't read the paper and just watch the fight to see what happened, you know. That way it wouldn't be spoiled for them. And we didn't have the internet back then. You know, the only way you knew anything was by the paper or the local news, you know, that kind of thing. Let's see. John names his, he says, mine in no particular order are Battle Beyond the Stars, The Seven Samurai. Oh, that's the same movie, isn't it? I'm just kidding. We all know that that's a remake of that. Godzilla, 1954. The Shawshank Redemption, which the clients at work wanted to watch that recently, and I told them, no, I can't watch it. I have promised to watch it. We're going to do a watch along of Shawshank Redemption. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pencil it in for next Saturday because I've got to get it knocked out because, you know, it always comes up at work. People want to watch it. And The Princess Bride. Princess Bride is great. Yeah. Out of those, none of those would be in my tops. Princess Bride's close for me, though. Princess Bride's really, really good. I do enjoy that one. But hey, that's the thing. It's your own top five, right? That's for sure. Let's see. Wolvie says, "Yep, I remember those HBO boxes. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you're about my age, Wolvie. We're probably around the same age. I just turned 60. I don't know how close you are to it. I don't think you're there yet. But yeah, those. It was just a switch you pushed over on the top of it. You know, it was kind of a bulky box, but all it was to turn on the cable so you could watch HBO. That was it. It wasn't like you could watch several different channels on cable. No, it was just to turn on HBO. That's all it was for. And I distinctly remember what the first movie that was ever broadcast on HBO, because I was a TV geek. Look, my parents didn't look at the TV guide. They didn't have to. I could tell them what was going to be on. I read the friggin' TV guide cover to cover. I loved TV and movies when I was a kid. I was one of those geeks that used to sit there, because you got to remember, when we were kids, guys, they didn't come out right away, you know, to where you could stream it on TV and shit. No. They didn't hit television for a good 3 to 4 years after their theatrical run. They didn't come out on VHS until at least a year, if not 18 months. After its theatrical run. We had second run movie theaters back then. What I used to call dollar theaters. The Joy Cinema was one of those, you know. Well, I must have seen Jaws in the theater about 5 times. But the last 4 times I saw it, you know, paying $1, you know, on a Saturday afternoon, you know. But it was a different time. I mean, our parents would drop us off at the theater and we'd just go, you know. I mean, and then they come get us. I mean, it wasn't the way it is now, you know. And I don't want to sound like one of those old men that just says everything was better back then. It was just a different world. It was a different world back then. It really was. The biggest difference to me is you watched out for your neighbor back then. You did, you know. Not like we're the Gestapo, with an iron heel on our neighborhood. It's nothing like that. But if they saw a kid that looked like they were lost, they helped them find their parents. That's what they did, Nowadays, you'd be in trouble if you even let your kid get in that position because of all the whack jobs that are out there today. Let's see. John says, that was how I saw WrestleMania 1. I had to go to a Liberty Park Convention Hall to watch it. Paid $3 for a ticket and way too much for concessions. Yeah, that's always been the case. Anytime you go to see anything on a big screen, they always hit you for that. Look at Ken. He says 60. Wow, that's old. You be quiet. You're not far behind me, Ken. Stop it. You're not that much younger than me, bro. I love it when guys that I've known forever act like I'm just the oldest dude in the world. You're not far behind me, bro. Of course, you'll never catch me, but you're not that far behind me. But anyway, yeah, that's how, I totally think something totally different about Andy Sedaris now. I always thought he was a hack. Now I know he was just doing something he thought was fun. Because, dude, look, my two favorite sports are football and boxing. And my dad told me at a very young age, he said, do not bet on either one of them. And I was like, why? And he said, well, boxing's rigged. It always has been. He told me this before I was 10 years old. He said, look, boxing's rigged and it always has been. He said, in football, doesn't matter how good one team is over the other one. He said, you never know how that oblong ball is going to bounce. Anything can happen. So you can't do it, And I've never been the gambling type. I've never been that kind of guy. I've played a little bit of video poker, for fun. I like playing poker, the card game poker. I think that's fun. I inherited a VO bottle from my father that is, I say inherited. He's still alive. He's 83 years old. He plays golf once a week. He still shoots in the high 80s, man. He's a pretty good scratch golfer, man. But he had a VO bottle full of change. It was a 1 gallon, Seagram's VO, bottle full of change. And if my buddy Dallas puts together a card game, I'll go play with him. But I'm not throwing hundreds on the pile. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that. It's just a game. So I wouldn't even think about doing that. But, so John's top 5. What do you guys think of John's top 5 list? This is pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and start mine. And I am going to put mine in a particular order. Because, that's just the way I like to roll. I like to let you know what my favorite is of everything. Number 5. And you might laugh at me. You can... remember, this is my opinion, okay? This is my opinion. Number 5, and it's the reason why I celebrate October. In October, you'll find out, if you haven't watched my channel before, I celebrate Halloween all month long. I give you ideas for Halloween movies and all that good stuff. Halloween itself is my number 5 movie of all time. It is my favorite horror movie. I think, and guys, it's heavily swayed by when I saw it. I saw it as a very young man. This came out, I believe, in 1978. Yeah, 1978. Knock would love the screen time. It was 1 hour and 31 minutes. Very efficient, as all of John Carpenter's films are. My good buddy Mark and I get together about, I'd say every couple of years, and we have a John Carpenter night, and we just watch John Carpenter movies because we loved watching horror movies as kids. It's funny is we're both around the same age, graduated high school together, and we live in the same town. And we barely see each other. But he works at the comic book shop, Excalibur Comics, Cards, and Games, and he does my pull list for me. He knows to pull me any covers drawn by Art Germ, by J. Scott Campbell. There's a few artists that I really dig, and he knows to pull those. and he pulls me any Supergirl and any Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, not all the Spider-Man books, just the Amazing Spider-Man. And really, guys, I don't even read these things now. I just put them in a box just to support the comic book shop because I dig them so much. But Halloween, to me, is one of the greatest films ever made. It scares you without being. It's the first really slasher movie. Besides, I mean, you could consider Psycho maybe the first slasher movie because of that shower scene, which was fantastic, by the way. I don't discount that at all. This is just my personal favorite horror movie. The whole lore behind it. I read the book, which, if you've never read the novelization of Halloween, it gives you a lot. I really dig the lore in that book. I really do. They explain why Mike can't be killed. You know, he's the boogeyman for real. You know, he's been he's really engulfed by the spirit of the boogeyman, and they tell you how that came about with the Festival of Samhain back in the day and all this other stuff. It's really neat. It's a really good add-on to this, but without even knowing that, this movie is just, you're sitting there watching it going, because it was one of the first ones that showed us the through the killer's eyes what was going on, and it's just it's a fantastic movie. And the other thing I love about it is it's scary without being bloody. This movie is not bloody very much at all. There's very little blood shown on the screen. There's very little of it, and like when I think one of the scariest parts is when the boyfriend of the blonde gets killed. He gets stabbed straight in the chest and pinned to a wall, but you don't see the dagger go in, and you only see him hanging there. You know, when Mike's looking at him like, "Wow, that's cool." You know, it's a different kind of movie, but it's just a silhouette. You don't see any blood. It's in the dark. And it's very cool. I dig it. And one of the things I really dig about this movie is the friggin' movies that are on the television set. Do you remember what movies were on the TV set? I'm pretty sure that The Thing from Another World was on during part of it, which is one of my favorite movies. You guys know The Thing is one of the greatest flicks ever made. The remake of it. The first remake of it. The first one, first time it was made it was in the 50s, and it had James Arness as the monster. Yes, Marshall Dillon from Gunsmoke was the monster, and it's showing on the TV in here. What John did was he put his favorite horror movies on the screen that they were watching that night on Halloween. Another one that's shown, I believe, is Night of the Living Dead is another one. Let's see. Wolvie says, "Wow, didn't know that." Yeah, definitely. Go watch that movie again and see what's on the TV screen. I can't remember if it's part 1 or part 2 that they show The Thing from Another World. I think it's on the first one, but I know for sure Night of the Living Dead is on the television during part of it in the first one. I do remember that. But anyway, Donald Pleasance is fantastic as the psychiatrist. It's just, to me, it's one of the greatest movies ever made. I fell in love with Jamie Lee Curtis, her, schoolgirl looks and everything. They really strapped down her chest for this movie. They tried to make her look as plain Jane as possible. We all know what Jamie Lee Curtis ended up blossoming into when she was an adult. And, but the thing I dug about it was it kind of set the rules for these movies. If you're promiscuous, your life's in danger. You know what I mean? You do the bad things, your life's going to be in danger. So, yeah, Halloween is, that one's number 5 for me. Okay. Number 4. Let's see. And what are some of your favorite horror movies, by the way? I mean, I haven't seen many new horror movies because the person I watched horror movies with was my daughter Amanda. I mean, when I was single, I watched them myself with my friends and stuff. But as an adult, when Amanda came of age where she could see movies like that, she and I watched them all the time. She loved them. But I just haven't had the opportunity to see these kind of movies over the last few years because it's just been me and my wife, and she doesn't do horror movies. Check it out. This woman that loves Hannibal Lecter, that loves Silence of the Lambs and that whole series, will not watch a slasher movie. Right? Is that bizarre or what? She won't watch Freddy. She won't watch Jason. She won't watch any of the Halloweens. You know. But she'll sit there and watch friggin' Anthony Hopkins fry up somebody's brain and eat it. You know, she watches The Walking Dead like it's going out of style. She loves that movie. She's one of those, if Daryl dies, we riot girls. You know. But anyway, let's see. John says, 6 out of 10 in no order for me. Big Trouble in Little China, which is another John Carpenter classic. October Sky, that's a good one. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. My God, how great is that movie? It is so awesome. Empire Strikes Back and They Live. That you've got 2 Carpenter movies on that list, man. That's nice. Yeah, 2 Carpenter movies. I think the last time we got together, me and Mark, we watched They Live, The Thing, and Halloween. We watched those 3, all in one sitting, and got drunk doing it. It was fun. But anyway, my number 4. That's cool, man. You got some good stuff there. Monty Python is definitely. Oh, that's great. Number 4 for me. Let me pull it up real quick. I was just talking about this one yesterday with a fellow streamer. She did a show on it. The Hunt for Red October. That is number 4 on my list of movies. I love this flick from beginning to end. I think it's got one of the greatest casts ever assembled in a movie. There have been several people that have played Jack Ryan, and as much of an asshole as this guy is, I'm sorry, Alec Baldwin is the closest thing to the novelization of Jack Ryan. If you've ever read the books, he is the anti-James Bond. He's an analyst that's a brilliant guy that always ends up in the mix. He's basically you and I. What would you and I do if we were in this situation? That's what Jack Ryan is supposed to be. And when the show with John Krasinski, everybody tells me it's a great show and I need to watch it. But I watched the first episode and they were building him up like a top operative, a tier 1 operative kind of thing. And I was like, that's not really Jack Ryan, you know. He's more the brains, not the brawn. I'm a John Carpenter fan too, Wolvie says. Yeah, absolutely. John Carpenter's, look, he's one of the greatest, man. He's part of the reason why I wear my hair the way I do. You know what I mean? When I went to that funeral today, I had my bangs tied behind my head and, you know, my hair hanging down. I had the John Carpenter thing going on. Let's see. But anyway, yeah, I will always say that Alec Baldwin, Jack Ryan, is my Jack Ryan. I loved him in that movie. But the supporting cast in this movie it's just off the chain. How great this film is. Of course, you got Sean Connery. You can't go wrong with that guy. He plays Marco Ramius, the guy that's the sub-commander that's stealing the boat. Alec Baldwin, you know, he's perfect as Jack Ryan. I mean, I say perfect, but, you know, you can't believe that Harrison Ford wouldn't want to get in a fight and punch somebody. You can't believe that. We've seen him on a horse too many times, you know? We've seen him as Indiana Jones and Harrison Ford, or excuse me, and Han Solo. I mean, he's always the guy that wants to mix it up, right? And so that doesn't really fit with Jack Ryan. It's more like this guy. You know, another one was Ben Affleck. I guess his was okay. Of all of them, I'd probably put Chris Pine second. You know, Chris Pine, he was pretty good. And The Shadow Recruit, that was a pretty good one. But look at this. Scott Glenn is Bart Mancuso. Sam Neill is Captain Borodin. I mean, look at this. James Earl Jones, Josh Ackland, Richard Jordan. He is so underrated. Richard Jordan is so underrated. He really is. He's great as the national security advisor in this movie. Peter Firth as the political officer that ends up getting whacked. Friggin' Tim Curry is the fucking doctor in this. And he's really the voice of reason on the sub. Courtney B. Vance is Seaman Jones, the guy that cracks the code, figures out how to find the Red October. Stellan Skarsgård as the guy, Tupolev that's going to hunt down his old mentor. Jeffrey Jones, of course, he's done some bad things in his life, but he's played in some pretty good movies, and he's the guy, the advisor that tells them what everything is. And all of these guys, even down to Fred Thompson and Daniel Davis. I mean, these two, Fred Thompson, I'll watch anything he's in. Die Hard 2 is the first movie I ever saw him in, and I had no idea he was a senator from the great state of Tennessee. I really did not know that, But, wow, he is a great character actor, man. I loved him in this movie. He's the one that actually talks Captain Davenport into having some respect for Jack Ryan, you know what I mean? Because when he first meets him, he was like, I don't like this guy at all, But, yeah, what a cast, man. And if you keep digging into it, Ned Vaughn, the Seaman Beaumont, right? All these guys have gone on and had stellar careers, but when they were in this movie, I mean, everybody knew who Tim Curry was, okay? But we didn't know who Stellan Skarsgård was. He was still a kid when he made this movie, We all knew who James Earl Jones was, But these, oh man, wow, what a cast. And of course, the Die Hard director, John McTiernan, a guy that knows how to do action. I mean, come on. How can you go wrong? The Hunt for Red October is number 4 on my list. Let's see. Martin Acosta Santana says Timothy Chalamet as Jack Ryan. No, he's not a femboy, okay? That's not what I'm saying. Let's see. John says, we don't talk about Jeffrey Jones. Yeah, I understand. But I hate to tell you, he's a good actor. One of my favorite movies is Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and he's fantastic as the fucking principal. It really is, man. But anyway, that's number 4 on my list. Number 3. I'm sitting here thinking of the order. Let's see. I guess this is where we're going to have to put it. And you guys know I'm a big Spider-Man fan, right? Huge Spider-Man fan. But the superhero movie that I'm gonna quote here, the superhero movie I'm going to quote here is actually a Captain America movie. I still to this day say this is the best MCU movie of all time. Captain America, The Winter Soldier. I love this movie. I think it's fantastic. I love the surveillance, the dangers of the surveillance state message it gives. I love the fact that a superhero movie actually addressed veterans issues in it. This flick is what Marvel Comics was back in the day. They dealt with alcoholism and addiction and things like that. They dealt with real world issues through their characters. That was one of the things that distinguished them from DC Comics. They were a little bit more real world, and all their locations were in the real world, except for Wakanda was made up and some of the places in the X-Men books and stuff. But most of it, most of the heroes lived in Captain America's from Brooklyn, and or no, he's from Queens. I can't remember which. Spider-Man's from Brooklyn or Queens. They both are. I can't remember. But this movie right here, it just blew me away the first time I saw it. And I never was a big Captain America fan. I knew the lore behind it. I was more of a Spider-Man guy, and I adore this movie so much. Scarlett Johansson in this movie is the hottest she will ever be as the Black Widow. I love the straight red hair she had in it. I just thought that was cool as shit. But let's see. Martin Acosta Santana says Ferris Bueller, Howard the Duck, Beetlejuice. Yeah, it goes on. He was in great movies. You can say what you want about him being a bad man, yes, but he was in some great movies. It's kind of like Kevin Spacey. I'm not going to stop watching The Usual Suspects. I'm not going to stop watching, oh God, what's the film noir movie they made in color? L.A. Confidential. I'm not going to stop watching these movies because he was fantastic in them. Now, he's a bad man. I understand that, but I'm not going to stop watching the movies. They were great. Tom Holland for Jack Ryan. Zendaya can play the president. There you go. Now, Tom Holland, he can play anything. I'm not a hater of Tom Holland. I really am not. I think he's good, but I do think he was wrong for the casting in. They should have swapped the casting in. What's the one, John, that's named after that video game you played forever? What was the name of that? Shit. Oh, come on. It's the puzzle game that I can't stand. It's like watching Lara Croft, only it's a guy. They're treasure hunting. What's the name of that? Can't remember. Uncharted. There it is. Yes. I can't stand. Yeah. When they made that movie, they should have flipped. Wahlberg should have played the guy. He would have been better in that role. I've heard people say Nathan Fillion would have been better. But, yeah. Uncharted. But the point is, I don't mind Tom Holland. I think he's doing good as Spider-Man. I just don't like the way they're doing it with him being totally driven by his relationship with Tony Stark. Please, go away. No. Let's let Spider-Man be Spider-Man. Hopefully in the next one he'll be shedded of that stuff and he'll be able to operate on his own. The fact that the Punisher is in it, I like, because check out Amazing Spider-Man 129. It's the first appearance of the Punisher. Now, it's not the Punisher that we know today. Back then, he was using rubber bullets and stuff like that. But it was the first appearance of the Punisher. My man Ross Andrew, my favorite comic artist of all time, drew that one. But back to this movie. The opening scene with them taking the Numerian star back and everything. It's just awesome. I mean, this whole movie from beginning to end is just fantastic. I love it. I love this movie. I've seen it more than any other MCU movie, and I will continue to watch it. I know a lot of people love Infinity War. This is the one for me. I dig this. I really do. That's number 3 on my list. That's the only superhero movie on my top 5 list, actually. Let's see. Number 2. We're getting down to it, boys and girls. Number 2. And remember, this is just me. Okay? It's just me. I'm going to have to put... And you guys are going to... We, as nerds, are going to argue about this all the livelong day. We really are. And I understand that. And I know Empire Strikes Back, I think John mentioned it. I think it was in his 6 to 10, right? But the Star Wars movie for me is Return of the Jedi. I just thought it was a stroke of genius to have the bad guy become the good guy in the very end of it. I thought that was awesome. And it also, another reason why this is my favorite, I love Empire, don't get me wrong. I think it's awesome. But this was the most awesome movie experience of my lifetime. This movie is the reason why I go see movies on opening weekend with fans. I've actually been in the papers 3 times. My picture's been in the paper 3 times for being at Star Wars movies on opening weekend. Once for Empire Strikes Back, once for Phantom Menace, and I think it was once for Force Awakens. And it wasn't like they interviewed me. They actually interviewed my buddy Mark, the one that sells me comic books, my John Carpenter buddy, my horror movie buddy. They actually had his picture in the paper and interviewed him for Empire Strikes Back. We had ridden our bicycles from our neighborhood over the Shreveport Barksdale Bridge, which feeds straight into the Air Force Base. We had driven over that bridge to the Eastgate Cinema, and we played Dungeons and Dragons from about 7 o'clock in the morning till 2 when it opened. Because back then you couldn't, get on your phone and order tickets and all that shit. You had to be there, So people camped out and stuff, But, being a smaller city, we didn't have to camp out. We just had to show up early, though. You had to show up early or you weren't going to get in. But yeah, this movie, I remember it distinctly. 1983 is the year I graduated from high school. And, I don't know how it is around the country, but in Louisiana, the seniors walk for graduation like almost directly after the school's year. Point being, they get out a couple of weeks before the rest of the school gets out. Okay, they're on the street. You know what I mean? They're not going to school anymore. And that was about the time that the Return of the Jedi came out. It was in May. And I can't remember the exact date. It's probably on here, but I know it was in May because my Aunt Mary, who was in the Louisiana State National Guard, full-time guard, she was down in Metairie, and she wanted me to come down for a visit because she knew I was joining the Army. I had already signed the papers and everything, I actually did that at the age of 17 because my birthday's right in the middle of the summer. So I didn't turn 18 until July 25th that year. But I wanted to take the summer off. I was planning on, we made a trip to Maine to see my relatives up there and all that good stuff. And I joined the Army the last day of summer, August 31st. Me and my buddy Ramey did that together. And joined the Military Police Corps on August 31st of 1983. But she asked me to come down to visit, and I said, look, you can pick me up on Tuesday or you can pick me up on Thursday, but on Wednesday, I can't be traveling. I'm going to be in a theater. And she goes, why is that? I said, because Return of the Jedi is coming out. And she said, okay, I'll pick you up Tuesday. She picked me up Tuesday, and she dropped me off in front of the theater on her way to work. It was 6:30 in the morning. There were already 80 people out front in line waiting for a 2 o'clock show of Return of the Jedi at a very big theater. Let's see. Martin says, Empire overall is a better movie, but the interactions between Vader, Luke, and Palpatine are the best moment of the whole franchise for me. Well, one of the things that The Hunt for Red October and this film have in common is you've got battles going on several fronts, and that's one of the things I like about both movies. This one, you had a battle between Luke fighting for his own soul, basically, against his father and Emperor Palpatine. Meanwhile, you had the space battle going on with Lando and his forces trying to stay alive versus the Death Star. And then you had Han and Leia on the ground trying to stop, get the shield generator turned off so that the guys in space could take care of things. It was fantastic filmmaking. You're right. That part at the end was really, really fucking cool. It really was. And it really deepened the Jedi lore. That whole scene between him and Vader and Palpatine. You're absolutely right. It was fantastic. It was obvious. It wasn't a fight. It wasn't a fight to win a battle. It was a fight for somebody's soul, and you could tell that. It was very, very cool. Right down to the fact that when he cut his hand off, you saw the look on Luke's face. He was about to turn, man. He really was. He looked like he had a vicious, bloodthirsty look on his face, and until he realized, hey, looked at his own hand, he said, I can become this guy. And yeah, that's when he turned around. It's great filmmaking. But the thing that really puts it over the top for me, and I know people have issues with the Ewoks, and we know that's a blatant merchandising thing, but the thing that I always remember is my experience that day, and it's the reason why I always go see movies on an opening weekend. First of all, it was the first time I saw a bootleg movie. Empire Strikes Back wasn't even out on VHS when this came out, but somebody was playing it on a TV, on a bad VHS tape outside. And they had a Charlie O machine set up for fountain drinks, and they were trying to accommodate people that were outside. But I heard somebody yelling my name And I'm in Metairie, Louisiana. Nobody knows me down here. And they're hollering Joe like they knew who I was. And I look up at the front, and there was a bunch of guys in OD fatigues, you know, the old 60s kind of military uniform pieces. They just had, you know, fatigue jacket and pants on, and maybe one of them had a cap. It was obvious they were military kids. And I had gone to leadership school with these guys at Barksdale Air Force Base. They had come up to our leadership school from Metairie, Louisiana, and they recognized me because, yes, I won an award at the damn school. I was the honor graduate, and you know, I got the commandant's award at the leadership school, and so they recognized me, and they called me up. So I got right up to the front of the line. At, you know, nobody was mad at him or anything. I mean, this was early in the morning, and, you know, nobody got mad at him for pulling me up there. And it was a great experience. I mean, look, every time one of the characters came on screen the first time, for instance, this character here, Luke, when he showed up in the hologram that R2-D2 was playing, you know, trying to negotiate with Jabba, the crowd went ballistic. Every time, you know, when Lando pulled his mask down to let you know, hey, it's him, people went ballistic. They lost their minds, man. And when this is one thing, I know you guys probably have copies of this, but you know, the original movie, Darth didn't holler no when he was throwing the Emperor down that fucking chasm. He just picked him up and chunked him. And look, everybody was screaming at the screen, and when he did that, popcorn flew all over that fucking place, man. It was like yelling chicken jockey at the fucking Minecraft movie. It was that kind of reaction. People lost their shit when he did it, when he finally turned. I'll never forget it. It was the best movie experience of my life, and that's why I picked Return of the Jedi as my favorite movie out of Star Wars, and it's number 2 on my list. It was number 1 on my list for a long damn time. I got to tell you, for a long damn time. Let's see, what do we got here? Das Wolfen says, the old Gumbies. Yeah. No doubt, man. But anyway, number 1, I think you guys know this. I'm kind of in the camp of Gary Nerdrotic when it comes to my nerddom. I am a Lord of the Rings fanatic. Love Lord of the Rings. Read those books when I was 11 years old. They changed my life. They really did. And I got to tell you, my favorite of all time is not the last one. Like Return of the Jedi is my favorite one out of the original trilogy of Star Wars. No, the opening chapter of Lord of the Rings is my favorite one. It's the one that sets the tone for the entire trilogy. It introduces you to all the lore, and they do it in such a great way. It's very apparent that Peter Jackson loved the material. It shows on every frame of this film. Some of my favorite scenes, he did so well. I mean, the scene where Erwin is running from the Nazgul. I love that one. The one where she gets rid of him by casting a spell in the river. That is one of my favorite scenes ever. The fight at Weathertop, you know, the tower at Weathertop, where Frodo gets stabbed with the Morgul blade, and Strider shows up at the last second to save all their lives. It's awesome from beginning to end. And the one part that always gets me, because it's ripped right out of the book, they showed it so great in the movie, was the death of Boromir, and how he was basically redeeming himself. He knew he had fucked up when he tried to take the ring from Frodo, and he was going to make sure that those guys got out of there alive. And I remember my wife... if you guys remember, this came out in 2001, but the first trailer for it was in 2000, okay? It was Christmas of 2000. The first trailer was played in movie theaters. And I was in a theater with my wife when I saw it the first time. And it was early in the trailer, they showed the 7 figures, and 4 of them, little short guys, walking in the wilderness, right? With mountains in the background. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, shit. And she said, "What?" I said, "They're finally making it. They're finally making Lord of the Rings." And because you guys know, you older folks out there, it was all cartoons. That's all we could get because they just didn't have the technology to make a movie like this at that time. I was a big fan of Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings. It actually covered the first two books. It ended with the fight at Helm's Deep, which happens in the Two Towers. But I'm a big fan of that one. But, whenever this came out, Rhonda had started, because she knew I was passionate about it. She really, look, my wife and I dig each other. Or whatever she digs, I try and find out as much as I can about it, and she does the same for me, man. When she found out I was really into this, she started reading The Lord of the Rings. And you guys know, if you've read that book, it's a hard read. And she didn't quite get it done. She got about halfway through the book before this movie came out. And I was remembering it as I watched it. And right before the fight where Boromir ends up getting whacked, I said, "Oh, shit," because I remembered what was coming next. And she goes, "What?" And I said, no, you'll find out. I just remembered something that's coming up. And, it's chef's kiss. It's perfect movie making. Could they have made it better? I don't think so. I've heard people tell me I need to watch the entire thing with everything cut out of it. I loved it the way I saw it the first time, and I will continue to watch it that way. I know they've got a lot more of the lore in it, but I'm still going to keep watching these right here, the theatrical cuts of them. And this is my favorite of all of them. I could watch this movie on a loop. I really could. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, is my favorite movie of all time. Let's see what we've got here. Martin Acosta Santana says, "Dune changed my life, though always loved the movie miniseries. I just read the books for the first time in '04. Wish I'd done that earlier." Yeah. And you know what? I've got to get a hold of the sci-fi miniseries. I hear that's really good when it comes to Dune. Rotoscope animation. Yes, John. Basically what he's talking about is they had actors play the parts, and they drew over the footage that was shot, is what he's talking about. That's what they did with Lord of the Rings. And it was called Lord of the Rings. That was the title of the movie. If you've never seen it, hang on, I'll pull up the... Now, that's my top 5. Am I crazy? Do you think that I've put any bad movies on that list? Let's see. Wolvie says, yes, the sci-fi miniseries of Dune is really good. Yeah, when I heard James McAvoy was in it, I wanted to see it. I'd seen some of the other names who were in it, but I'm a big James McAvoy fan. I think that guy can do no wrong. I really enjoy his stuff. Let's see. Lord of the Rings. Of course, I'm going to have to scroll down past some of this stuff because most of it's the crap that's come out here recently. There it is. Boy, the poster for this may be the coolest poster of all time. This is the one right here. I think it's Ralph Bakshi. Wasn't he the artist on this? I can't remember. But that poster, tell me that's not one of the coolest fucking things ever, man. I mean, you're seeing it from the Hobbit's... They're seeing Gandalf from the Hobbit's point of view, looking up at him. We know that sword is not that big, right? It's just a great picture, man. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's a Ralph Bakshi film. Yeah, it was him. What does that say right there? It says, let's see. On the poster, it says, one man cast a lingering spell of awe and wonder, of magical innocence overcoming evil, of simple courage conquering fear. He gave us the legend that will live forever in our minds. J.R.R. Tolkien triumphed with the perception that a single dream is more powerful than 1,000 realities. Come to Middle-earth, a world beyond the furthest reaches of your imagination. Oh, man, that's badass. I don't think I've ever read that before. But I just remember that visual is just badass, the picture is. But you see right here, Hell, I'll hit play on it. You'll see what some of the animation looks like. You won't hear anything. I'm not going to play any sound, but yeah, this movie's pretty cool. You see the visuals, right? Yeah, that's the part where they're trying to find him. Yeah, this is crazy. Of course, this trailer is obviously newer. It's got the little computer animation on it and stuff, but as you can see, it's actual actors and it's drawn over, right? But the characters, you know, they're drawn like the Hobbits. They've definitely got an animated character that's drawn over the actors, right? It's the animation in this movie is fantastic, dudes. It is great. If you've never seen this movie, you need to watch it sometime. It's really, really good. It's the only thing us J.R.R. Tolkien fans had for a long time. And the Nazgul almost look exactly like they do in the movie. In the movie that Peter Jackson made. It's just awesome stuff. Really is. I dig this flick. But as far as number one on my list, you know what it is. It's the Fellowship of the Ring. But if you've never seen that movie, you need to go watch it. It actually covers the first two books. Now, of course, they chop a lot of stuff out of it. Okay, but it ends with Gandalf arriving at Helm's Deep to bail them out of that battle. Yeah, it's pretty damn cool. Don't think I've ever seen that poster before. Yeah, dude, it's great. Yeah, that was the one that was in the theaters. From a certain point of view, right? Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay, Obi-Wan, I got you, Martin. Got you. But yeah, that's what's cool about that picture, is that it's from the Hobbit's point of view, right? All right, guys, I've blathered on long enough tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show this evening. I'm hoping that Highlander will be back next week. He should be. Let's hope. I love hanging out with my brother on Sunday, so let's hope he's back next week. Let me make sure I've got everything handled here before we get going. I think I've got a couple of thumbnails I need to pull down here. Let's see. Yeah, there's one other one I need to grab. Looks like Low Spec never did make it over there on Rumble. Huh. Okay. Let's see how it is, brother. See how you are? No, I'm just kidding. Let me see. I need one other one. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. I've had a great weekend. We had a ball last night. If you missed the 600 subscriber celebration, go check that out. We had a good time yakking last night. Das Wolfen and my man Martin Acosta Santana, who will be with me tomorrow night he may not be with me tomorrow night. I'm playing DCO, but he'll definitely be back for the finale of Mass Effect. I finally made it to the end of Mass Effect, guys. It's coming rather quickly. I always play DCO on the last Monday of the month. Let me see. Getting all these things here. You guys are going to see a couple of thumbnails here, but I just wanted to get them for the end of the show. Okay, look, I want you to go by joesatmosphere.com. Go check that out. There's a couple of action buttons right underneath the opening trailer on that website. One of them will take you to my Subscribe Star page where you can see all the behind-the-scenes works on the Privateer. So definitely go check that out. And if you get a second, check out the other one. It's a link to the 0 issue of the Privateer. I put out a 0 issue, which is a teaser. It's the first 5 finished inked pages of the Privateer. No words, no colors, just inked pages. Just to give you a taste of what you're going to see in the Privateer. So go check those out whenever you have a chance at joesatmosphere.com. That's the easiest way to find those two things. You've got a button that will take you straight there. Let's see. Martin says, no, said as Luke, I do not like Obi-Wan. Really? You don't like Obi-Wan Kenobi? Really? Okay. Let's see. I wish, let's see. John says, I wish he would do Stargate on Labor Day instead of tomorrow. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be cool. So you could be on it, right? Great show, man. Catch you on the flip side. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate you, brother. I hope you had a good time, dude. I always love seeing my old bartending buddies get in here on YouTube and say hi. You know what? I'd love, one of these days, Ken, we're going to have to do a stream together on here. These guys would love you. They really would, man. They would love he's a really laid back guy. And he's one of the dudes that I've always kept up with over the years, man. One of the guys from my bartending days. Love you to death, Ken. I will see you soon, my friend. We're gonna be having an opening day get together for football season, which is coming up, and I'll be talking about that here in a minute. So I'm gonna send you an invite for that whenever we put everything together. But anyway, let me let you know what's going on with the channel, guys. Of course, you're watching Chillin' at the Club number 9. I do this show whenever Danny can't be here on a Sunday night. So I just do a chat-driven stream, and we talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Or I just blather on about things I like. So you guys, thanks for being here. Come back next week, and we should be able to hack the Matrix next week at 6 p.m. Central Time. Everything you need to know about the Clown Show that is 2025 through today's headlines. The brothers hack the Matrix. Highlander and Papa Joe Gamer get together and do it. That was my name when I started on Twitch, guys. If you wonder where that comes from, I still go by that name when I do my video game streams. You'll see guys call me that. But anyway, you guys, thanks for being here tonight, and come back and check it out next week as me and my brother bring you all the headlines of the week. Of course, tomorrow morning, it's going to be Military Monday Drink and Draw. And it's going to be Stargate tomorrow morning. This movie I dig. I've never watched any of the, 50 iterations of Stargate that they had on television. But I love this movie with Kurt Russell and James Spader. I think it is awesome. It's going to be hard for me to draw a lot while we're talking about this movie. I'm going to be too busy looking at the damn slideshow because I love this flick. It is so great. And it's a Roland Emmerich joint. He loves to destroy the world, and this is one of the ways he tried to do it. But anyway, you guys come check it out. We're going to be talking about it. Gary, Martin, and Anima, and I'll be working on the pages of the Privateer. I'll be working on page 7. I finished page 6, and I'll be moving on to page 7, working on that while we talk some Stargate tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Time. And then, of course, at 4 p.m. Central Time, it's time for It's Only Talk and Roll. And this week, we're going to be talking about Back to the Beach. Now, I've got to tell you some of the people that are in this movie. You're not going to believe this. Imagine this cast. You see, it's Frankie Valli and Annette Funicello, right? The beach blanket babe and her boyfriend, right? But guess who else is in it? Gilligan, Pee Wee Herman, and Stevie Ray Vaughan. Now, if you... I dare you to find a more eclectic cast than that. That was easy for me to say, wasn't it? Yeah, it's crazy. Back to the Beach. We're going to be talking about it tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central Time on That 70s Rock Fans channel. So come check it out. And then, of course, at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, it's time for Papa Joe Gamer, After Dark, video games, cocktails, and fails. And it is the last Monday of the month, so me and Lunatic will be tearing up some DC Universe Online. And I'll be having a couple of cocktails to enjoy that with. So you guys come check it out tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Central Time as I begin playing DC Universe Online and having some cocktails to start the week. And then, of course, on Wednesday, it's another drink and draw. And this time, my God, this could easily be in my top 5, this movie here. It's in a lot of people's top movie lists. But it's not in mine. But, yeah, Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather, the original, with... oh, God, I'm having a brain fart. What is that? Brando. That's it. Marlon Brando is the Godfather. Al Pacino. James Caan. I mean, the list goes on of people that are in this movie. Talia Shire is the daughter of the Godfather. I mean, it's a great movie. It is fantastic. I like the second one better. I like the story that's told in that one better, but this one, the second one wouldn't exist without this one. This one is a classic, man. Probably my favorite part of it is when they set up Sonny. That was evil the way they did that, because they knew exactly what he was going to do when his sister got beat up. So we're going to be talking about it Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central Time. Anima, Gary, and Martin, and I will be working on The Privateer for a couple of hours at 3 p.m. Central Time on Pop Culture Mindfield's channel, and that's 2.5 hours before I go live on State of the Atmosphere. You guys come check it out as we go through all. This is my favorite show I do every week. It's the pop culture show. We talk about movies, shows, video games. We do a lot of video game talk. But next week, it's going to be mostly, of course, we have the pop culture update where we tell you what's going on in the news of movies and stuff like that. And we're going to also check in on the girlfriend of the show, Sydney Sweeney, like we always do. But the main thrust of the show this week is going to be showing you everything that's premiering in September. Or is anything premiering in September? We'll find out this Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Central Time on State of the Atmosphere. And then, of course, on Friday, it's Foxy's birthday, boys and girls. It's the Royal Fox's birthday. She's turning 39 for... I can't tell you how many times she's turned 39. But anyway, it's going to be a Foxy-centric show. I always work on The Privateer every Friday at 1 p.m. Central Time. I think I'm going to work on the Valentine's Day picture I started this year. I want to get that done before Valentine's Day of next year, so this is a good time to work on it. She's in the picture with The Privateer. So it's her birthday, and I'm taking her out Saturday, but I have to work on Friday, so I will do my show like I usually do at 1 p.m. Central Time, sketching The Privateer. The story of America's Pirate Patriot continues to be built on my channel. And then, of course, we want you to step on over to Pop Culture Mindfield's channel at 8 p.m. Central Time on Friday for Fallout Tale of Two Wastelands on Gaming Night with John. Knock and Martin will be giving as much hell as possible as he attempts his assault on New Vegas, but it didn't quite work out this week. He had a few glitches in the Matrix, as I like to say, and he ended up playing Grand Theft Auto. And if you've never seen him drive with a keyboard instead of a controller, yeah, it's fun to watch when things go wrong. This show is fun regardless. You guys come check it out. Pop Culture Mindfield's channel every Friday at 8 p.m. Central Time, and that brings us right back around to Sunday again. And like I said, I'm going to try and put together the Shawshank Redemption for next Saturday. I'm not going to promise anything because I don't know what's going to happen this week. But I think it's time for us to do another watch-along, And I've never seen... I know I'm a total heathen for being a movie fan and never seeing this movie. Who knows? It might end up number one on my list. You never know. But the Shawshank Redemption, we're going to try and do it Saturday. No promises, though. I don't know what's going to happen this week. But the one thing I can tell you for sure is that this Sunday, I thought I had a thumbnail here for it, but it looks like I don't. No, yes, I do. It's an older one from our last show, but the boys are getting back together next Sunday to start the 4th season of NFL Pregame Party. If you're a football fanatic like I am, you see what it says down there on the bottom, Football Fanatic Friends. Well, all of these guys are football fans. I'm hoping Small Time Republic will join us again someday. Even if he doesn't, it's cool. I love you, Matt. We miss you terribly. He may have retired from streaming. I don't know. But he is a great guy, and he has been part of the show since its beginning. That's why he's still on the thumbnail. But me, Knock, and John will be here every week, and I'm pretty sure Highlander will be there. He'll be there occasionally during the season, but he'll definitely be there for the predictions. This weekend, coming up a week from today at 10 a.m. Central Time, we're going to wrap up the preseason. We're going to talk about the opening weekend, the matchups, and we're going to make our predictions for the season. Who's going to the playoffs, wild card, division champs, wild card teams, and who we think is going to win the Super Bowl. none of it for money. It's all just fans getting together and having a good time. So if you're tired of the talking heads on ESPN or what I call the Communist News Network, you guys come check out some real football fans that know the game and love it as much as you do, and come check it out. We're going to start that. The 4th season starts this Sunday coming up at 10 a.m. Central Time, and then it'll be back to, hopefully, Highlander will be here, and we'll get back to business as usual with the brothers Hack the Matrix. So let's check the chat one more time before we get out of here. That's everything that's going on with this channel. Let's see. Martin says, I like how Talia's character morphed from a modern-day city girl to an Italian Matrona yelling, vendetta, vendetta. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, she definitely changed. Her father's death really changed her. It really did. She thought she was one of these diva girls that thought she could get away with murder until her father died. Once that happened, yeah, she was totally changed. She was Team Michael all the way, and she was ready to. She would have killed somebody for Michael. I think if she was called upon to do it, she would have. That's not the way they did things in that family, though. Men took care of business in that family. Wolvie says, have a great night. And you know what I'm going to tell you guys. I want you guys to stay safe out there. And until we see you again, I want you guys to keep on keeping on. God bless. Whether you like them small, medium, or large. Remember, Titty Tuesday happens every night of the week on Joe's Atmospheres channel. Take care, guys. Peace.